Hey Lexi, it's spooky season, and what could be scarier than a sentient cyborg stalking you?
I'm not sure.
How about a glimpse into our AI-controlled future?
That's definitely
I was going to
scary.
say 2 sentient cyborgs stalking you.
Well, either way, let's get the conversation started. Hello and welcome to LexiCon. It is Maddie.
Lexi.
Dylan.
It is indeed spooky season, just a few days out from Halloween as this podcast drops, and we are also 40 years from the release of 1984's The Terminator, which is what we're going to be watching today on the podcast. James Cameron's sophomore film, I believe, ironically enough, following up Quentin Tarantino's sophomore film that we watched on the previous episode.
Interesting.
Now, unpopular opinion, this is my favorite Terminator movie. I like it. I much prefer it to T2, even though I'll acknowledge T2 is a good movie.
A friend recently said that, in their opinion, the second one is the best.
And I have no use for anything that came after 2.
Have you seen any of them? Have you seen any of the ones after 2?
No, because I have no use for them, because they're all just ridiculous.
Understandable. I recently saw the entire collection for sale at Walmart. It was very expensive.
It's the one that sort of set that idea of, you can't stop Judgment Day in motion, and sort of started to retcon things that Cameron created for the first movies. I mean, Terminator 2 was supposed to be the end of the saga. But then the studio was like, nah, more cash, give it to us. Of course, then again, when he came back on board, they completely started retconning stuff, so...
Interesting.
Yeah, the most recent Terminator, which I believe is Dark Fate, John Connor gets killed before Skynet takes over. Even though it's still Skynet's in this... spoilers, sorry. Wait, maybe I should do that again. Spoilers, but in the most recent Terminator, John Connor's already dead by the time we start the movie. Like, the whole point of the first 2 movies was to keep John Connor alive. Or technically keep Sarah Connor alive until John could be born, and then keep John alive.
And then they killed him.
Yeah. Well, they kill him in a lot of the movies, honestly, from what I've heard. But even when Cameron came back, they're like, yeah, fuck that, we're going another way. Now, to be fair, they are getting into the idea of alternate timelines by then, which is actually even touched on in the first movie, even though we always say, Terminator time travel is it's a continuum because, again, spoilers, but again, it's a 40-year-old movie. I mean, maybe we should be talking about this during the actual movie, but of course, Kyle Reese has to come back to be John's father.
Yeah.
But he does mention that it's, just one of many possible futures in the future. He brings a, hey, I'm pontificating about Terminator here.
Apparently the cats aren't happy about it either.
I mean, I don't blame them for anything that came after T2. I will offer a quick mea culpa. I've always complained about T2 in one part because I'm like, they changed things because you're not supposed to be able to stop Judgment Day. That's nowhere in the first movie. Honestly, I just rewatched it. I went and read the script with all the deleted scenes and everything. That does not appear anywhere in the movie. Like I say, Kyle literally says his future is one of many possible futures, and he brings a message back to Sarah from John that the future is not set. And in a deleted scene, Sarah actually wants to go destroy Cyberdyne and stop Skynet before it starts, and Kyle says they can't do it, but not because they can't stop Judgment, just because strategically it's a mistake because his job is to keep her alive. So forget all. I mean, T2 needs a pass on that. I don't know why we come down like that for all these years. I will say the other thing I don't really like about it is the fact that Arnold's character is the good guy now, but I mean, by that point it kind of makes sense. You weren't going to cast Arnold as the villain in the middle of his fame, and they did get introduce a cool new Terminator, which actually the liquid metal Terminator was supposed to be in the first movie too. There were supposed to be 2 Terminators, but the effects just weren't up to snuff at the time, at least in Cameron's opinion. From what I've read, I wasn't there, of course.
Interesting.
But what I am is here, ready to do this podcast, so I think we should get into the movie now before I talk any more. And find myself with nothing to say during the movie proper. If you're watching along with us, make sure you're what we call zeroed out, so when we all press play together, the movies will start at the same time. No FBI warnings, commercials, movie previews, etc. at all. And of course, if you're not watching, hopefully we will be entertaining enough. I will count 3, 2, 1, play, and we'll all press play on play. I mean, at least if you want to stay synced with us. And I will try to offer something to keep you synced up later on in the movie. But as I said last time, it's 50-50 at best, and I'm going to remember to do that.
Yeah.
So we've got our subtitles on, we've got our volume down, we're all loaded up and ready to go. If you are too, then let's do it. In 3, 2, 1, play. Rated R for nudity, violence, frightening scenes, alcohol use, smoking, foul language, sexual content. That just sounds like a Tuesday night. As the lion roars.
Wow. What is special about Tuesday?
I mean, there's 2 of them, man. There's double the power of any other day. I don't know. What do you mean, what's special about Tuesday?
I mean, like, forever it's been used as that sort of line. Like, it's just Tuesday night, I want it on my desk by Tuesday, etc.
I like the old Orion. I like the old Orion title card with the stars behind it.
Nice.
I don't think Orion exists anymore.
I'm sorry.
Hemdale presents a Pacific Western production of a James Cameron film. Just faded out. There's the time cue, so I don't have to remember it later. As we get our opening... Well, I guess not the opening credits quite yet.
Whoa. 2029?
We begin in 5 years.
Yeah.
Wow, looks surprisingly accurate.
Well, I mean, the way AI is going, I wouldn't doubt it. I don't think we're going to have necessarily a legion of killer robots, but I do think computers are going to get way too smart for us way too soon and decide they probably don't need us. So if AI is not put in check, this is definitely a version of the future we face. This looks really good for 1984, I'm going to say, though. It holds up to me. I think, too, because a lot of it's practical. Some of it might be miniatures, but obviously those lasers might be computer effects or whatnot, but this, is probably mostly practical, and I think practical stuff tends to hold up pretty well.
Definitely.
If it's done well. And I mean, okay, sometimes you can tell, well, obviously that's fake. Well, yeah, I'm watching a fucking movie. It's all fake. It's like, I'm watching a play, and I'm like, they ain't really in fucking Vienna right there. They're just up on that stage. That rock ain't real. But, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Now, here are the opening credits that I was referring to earlier. Kind of remind me of the opening credits for Demolition Man, which we watched last year on its 30th anniversary.
Yes,
and weirdly enough, kind of remind me of the opening credits of Speed, which we watched earlier this year for its 30th anniversary, even though, I mean, they're both action movies, but Speed is not a futuristic movie.
True.
I like the opening music for here. You're not hearing it, but if you've seen it, you have. Or if you're watching at home, you could turn it up and listen to it.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
They could totally have both audios going on.
We can talk over... Well, not the whole movie. Come on now.
I mean...
Maybe keep it low. I hope they're listening to us a little bit.
Nah.
I thought they said Rick Bossa Nova at first. I was like, that's a hell of a name. Like, that had to be fake, right?
Who knows? A lot of movies don't have intro credits nowadays, do they?
I don't know. I don't see a lot of modern movies, to be quite honest.
I feel as though a lot of them don't. I want to say maybe something I watched recently did, but I can't think of what it was, so... I could have just been streaming something that's old.
The legendary Stan Winston doing some of the effects. Final Fantasy II. This is way before Final Fantasy II. What?
When was Final Fantasy II?
Supposedly, Gail Ann Hurt took a writing credit for making some suggestions, but Cameron says she didn't do any actual writing on the movie. Again, I don't know, wasn't there. Just saying what I read on Wikipedia or somewhere else.
Okay.
When I was reading up on the movie a little bit. Like I said, I do believe this was Cameron's second film after, I believe his first directorial effort was Piranha 2.
Okay.
Of course, he would go on to direct Aliens, which was the sequel to Alien. Of course, probably most famous at this point for Titanic and Avatar and Avatar's sequel.
I have seen Avatar and Titanic. Need to see Avatar's sequel. Do possibly kind of want to see Alien?
Avatar and Titanic are both totally good movies.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen Avatar once, never felt the need to watch it again, but it was a totally good watch. Titanic, if I had the time, I could watch it again. I thought it was really good, honestly. I remember when that movie was being made and it was going over budget and taking too long. I'm like, there's no way this movie's going to make money. It ended up being the highest grossing film ever at the time. and I understood why, too, because it's a love story. It's an action picture. It's got so much mixed up into it, and it's really well done.
Yeah. What are your opinions on the Aliens movies?
I've seen two, but I don't think I really watched it really intensely.
Mm-hmm.
I like that lightning effect, too. So you're talking about the effects holding up.
Sorry?
She has some thoughts on Alien, apparently. Anyway, I've never seen Alien. I've seen Aliens, but I don't really remember it all that well. And I saw Alien 3, and that's pretty much it. And they're fine. They're not really my kind of movies, but they're fine for what they are. I don't know how they're not my kind of movies, but I'm not... I like action movies, but I liked them better when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And those veer almost more into horror, which this one does too, to a degree, but this is more of like a thriller or more like a stalker. And that's just more like, I don't know what you call it, but supernatural horror almost. Not the aliens are supernatural, but it's these, almost unstoppable creatures coming after you. Then again, something like Predator would sort of fall into that, and I really loved Predator at the time. So I guess it's just, I didn't see it at the right time, and now I just don't really care.
But if you had time and you went back and watched it, you might like them. So.
I probably wouldn't waste my time at this point. There's a lot of movies I still want to see.
There are a lot of movies that need to be seen.
I don't think that ass is CG. I don't think there's a booty double for that. Not many people looked like Arnold back then. And I don't think they were taking the time to put a new butt over him. One of these fellas, I believe the spiky-haired one, is the late Bill Paxton, who was in Titanic. He was in one of the Alien movies, but I think he was in the first Alien, not the second one, but I think his character died, so... But again, I haven't really seen those movies. Oh, he's been in a lot of other stuff, too. He was in Twister, but I was just saying the Cameron connection, that he would come back in Titanic. He was the researcher who was looking for the Titanic.
I don't 100%.
By the way, we
Titanic.
totally glossed over the Arnold dick. We forgot to let everybody know. We got to see Bruce Willis dick last week in Pulp Fiction. This week,
oh gosh,
Arnold dick right there, and we're talking about Bill Paxton.
Makes sense.
Who I'm sure had a lovely dick, but we didn't get to see it in this, so who knows.
But, I don't entirely remember the Titanic. I watched that movie one time as a kid.
Did you say the Titanic? The movie's just Titanic.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, I don't remember the Titanic, it was totally then, that year.
This is probably the most graphic part of the movie, where he just rips the guy's heart out. I mean, they don't hold on it very long.
Mm-hmm. Was it 1912 or 1914?
This is 1984.
The Titanic.
Ironically, the same year of George Orwell's novel. I don't know, like I said, I wasn't there.
I want to say it was April 12th.
And it's never concerned me enough to memorize the date of it.
Understandable.
Okay.
One of my favorite American Girl characters, the one I actually have a doll of, she was on the Titanic.
Is there an American Girl Terminator doll? Like a Sarah Connor?
No, but I'm sure it could be customized. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody has made a custom doll.
That's kind of American Girl doll I'd want. Oh, Michael Bean ass. Or Michael Bain. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce his last name. I apologize. I don't know if I've ever seen him in anything other than Terminator.
Again, this name sounds familiar, but that's all I've got.
I grew up believing that Arnold had originally been wanted as the Kyle Reese part, but he wanted to be the villain. What I read the other day said that Mike Medavoy, who was the head of Orion Pictures at the time, suggested Arnold for the role of Kyle Reese, but James Cameron thought, A, that Arnold maybe at that point in his acting career couldn't bring the emotional depth to the role that was needed, and also that if you hired Arnold to be Kyle, you were going to have to hire someone who was even more famous to be the Terminator, and that could prove problematic. But then he started thinking about maybe doing him as... Maybe Arnold started showing interest in the villain role, and that's when James Cameron reconsidered. Even though Cameron admits that he would hardly blend in. Mm-hmm. If the idea of the Terminator is to have the organic body is to blend in, someone looking like Arnold back then would hardly blend in. Kyle kind of making a dick move, just stealing the homeless guy's pants. Like, he could have traded or, made a case. The guy's like, he stole my pants!
Yeah. Michael, however you pronounce his last name, is apparently also in Aliens.
The sequel.
Yes.
Aliens is the second one. Alien was the first one. Well, that would make sense because of James Cameron.
Yeah, he was in Aliens, Alien 5, Alien 3, maybe some others. That's all that's shown up so far.
Did he play the cyborg?
I don't know.
Maybe not. See, I don't know the Alien movies all that well, but I know there's like a cyborg character or some kind of robot character that makes an appearance in multiple movies.
Did you ever see Deadfall?
I've never heard of Deadfall.
Oh. I've heard of it, but that's all I remember. Like, I've seen the poster and heard of it, but again...
Is that an Adele song? And the dead fall. Yeah, I know it's a James Bond movie, Skyfall, so I don't know the joke's really that funny, but... 12th of May, 1984. I wonder if the 12th of May, 1984 was a Thursday. I'm gonna look that up. Don't you look it up. You say something.
Yeah, no, I'm still finding out who Michael, however you pronounce his last name, played.
Dylan, you haven't said much.
What do you want me to say?
Anything.
Thinking of.
Anything.
Great. Don't say anything that you're thinking of.
What?
That
I'm
could be
fine
dangerous.
with it.
What?
Nope.
You want a Power Rangers rant?
Guys, nope, we got an error here.
Oh,
May 12th, 1984 was a Saturday.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I think this movie actually takes place in 1984, right? I mean, that's when it came out. Crap, now I better look that up before I condemn them too hard.
Okay. I'll continue.
I have 17 tabs open. What the hell is my problem?
That I don't know.
He's running through a sporting goods store.
Nice shirt.
Well, maybe it's not just a sporting... Maybe it's just a department store, because I don't think you really get an overcoat in a sporting goods store. Guys, good news. Wikipedia still can't be sold.
That's great. He played Corporal Hicks.
Yeah, I told you, I don't remember the Alien movies all that much, even the ones that I saw.
I was say, that means nothing to me, but if it means anything to you...
1984, so, yep, they screwed that up. Good job, Terminator people.
Whatever.
And that's not even close then, because 84 would have been a leap year.
Okay. Because
presidential election years are leap years. They're not because of those two things, they just happen to be. At least in my lifetime. So that means that May the 12th would have been...
Walk up.
Would have been Thursday in 1982, right? What if this was written in 82 and they were just like, yeah, that's good enough.
I saw something...
I mean, it does say he developed...
I would say, without reading further, I saw something about 1983, but I haven't read the other information to go along with that.
Well, it said he came up with the idea in 1982. So maybe he just based it on the current year and never bothered to change it. What difference does it really make?
Didn't bother getting...
I mean, I would change it if I were the one writing it. It would matter to me, but I can understand why somebody else didn't really care that much about it. This is not necessarily even... I mean, it's a fictional world, even if it's based on the real world. Obviously, stuff isn't... You're not doing a documentary about stuff that really happened, so...
Apparently, later in the movie, on Sarah Connor's paycheck thing, you can see the date is May 19th, 1984.
Oh, yeah, I don't doubt that it takes place in 84. I'm just saying if he was writing it in 1982 and he wrote that line in 1982, and it's like, well, what day is May the 12th this year? Okay, it's Saturday, it's Thursday, got it. I can understand that he didn't really take the time to change it.
Yeah, according to this, it's probably due to when he was working on the script or whatever.
You really took the time to look that up. We pretty much just came up with that. 1983 was a Thursday. 83 was?
Yes, according to this.
Oh, that's right. I just said it. 84 was the leap year, so the year before wouldn't Friday. Yeah, it would have been Thursday. It would have been 1983. Man, I made myself look really stupid.
You're fine. I found an article
I look as dumb as that cheeseburger.
Titled Time Goofs in the Terminator Movies.
Yeah, it would have normally been in 82, but because of the leap year.
Yeah.
If the 12th had been a Saturday 1 year, then normally 2 years before would have been a Thursday. But yeah, I even point out because of the leap year, and we got to start this all over. So if you're hearing this, Dylan just told me I couldn't start the show over, so blame Dylan. Connor, Sarah.
Connor, Sarah.
I think that just said May 19th, 1984.
Yeah, that's what it said.
So Kyle and the Terminator have been there for a week now?
I guess so.
This unstoppable robot with all the stuff at his disposal doesn't even get to the first Sarah Connor for a whole week?
I guess.
The hell were they doing? I've got to check out the sites. How often do you get to see this stuff? I got to go to the observatory and the porn theater.
You'd find a random person in a week.
They have phone books. He literally went... names and addresses were literally in the phone book. He literally used the phone book to find them.
Much easier to find people's phone numbers and addresses.
Why did it take them a whole week?
Back then.
Yeah.
Now they want to charge you for it. On the freaking internet.
Sort of makes me think of like a Sizzler-style restaurant.
If you can even find that information on the internet.
Would you rock that waitress outfit? Just like a cosplay?
Maybe.
Or just because you felt like it?
Both of those are possible.
It's
lacking an apron.
That would be a good cosplay for a... Well, it seems like she has a big pocket there. I think she's got a big belt. I think she has an apron. I think it's just pink.
Okay.
See?
Okay, yeah. Anyway, what were you saying about the cosplay thing?
Sarah Connor and the waitress outfit. That'd be a cool cosplay for a con. Because, real fans would get it. Other people would be like, they're just dressed up as... They're like an anime maid or something.
I still want to do the 2-second person with the stroller full of cans from Speed.
That'd be cool, too. Dick Miller playing the gun store owner. Character actor in tons of things from the 80s and 90s and probably 70s at all. He was actually in Pulp Fiction. Do you guys remember him?
No.
That's because the scene was cut out.
Makes sense.
But he played Monster Joe, the junkyard owner.
That's a cool guy.
In whose junkyard they disposed of Marvin's body in the car.
Okay.
We see his daughter, but we don't actually see him in the movie. But Dick Miller actually was cast and played him, but the scene got cut out.
Wow.
Cool guns.
I'm surprised somebody from your generation is saying that. Somebody from your generation who's not a Trump supporter is saying that.
I like guns. The guns look cool.
And let's make it very clear, nobody on this podcast is a Trump supporter. We all hope you go out and vote Kamala and Walz.
Yeah.
I like the fingerless gloves.
According to this...
Sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah.
According to this article...
And, Kyle's been sitting in that same... the Terminator... I know he's got real living tissue. I'm not sure how that works exactly, and it doesn't decay, but he doesn't have to evacuate anything. I don't know that he sweats or anything, but Kyle's going to be freaking dirty by now. I mean, I guess maybe he's taking a whore's bath somewhere, as they say, but I don't know. The dates are bothering me now.
Yeah, according to
My grandparents had a station wagon that looked very much like that. I think their station wagon wasn't the two-color. It didn't have the wood paneling.
Damn.
Same shape, though, but it was like all light brown. That guy looked like Henry Godwin.
Honestly, that should be no...
I like station wagons.
He should have had no chance dealing with the Terminator. He's lucky.
I mean, he is a soldier who's been fighting Terminators for years.
I mean, yeah, but like... Bro.
Well, I mean, clearly the Terminator is a very formidable foe, but they're not entirely unstoppable. That'd have been cool if that had been a Transformers. But Transformers hadn't come out by this point, because Transformers didn't come out until 1984.
It came out sometime this year.
Right, but by the time of production, I don't think they would have been out.
When did they come out in 1984?
I don't know.
I just want to know, could that have been a
I know GoBots, which predated them by a year, came out in 1983. And I know that because I happened to watch a Michael Mercer video on them last night.
Nice.
I was 4 then, so I didn't remember which came first, but...
Anyway, I was trying to say, according to this article, in the original script, Sarah Connor is 19, but that's never stated or anything in the movie.
Yeah, you do see her driver's license at one point, I think.
Interesting. And then situation, whatever, Terminator 2 takes place 10 years later.
Terminator 2 takes place in 1995. It's 11 years later.
Okay, close enough.
Even though the movie came out in 91, it's 1995.
Okay, so still 11 years later. But then in Terminator 3, you see something that dates her as having been born in 1956.
Well, like I say, by Terminator 3, they're going off script from the original movies. Apparently, that's what introduced the whole idea that Judgment Day can't actually be stopped. That Dylan and I have been quoting for years, saying, T2 fucks things up. You're not supposed to be able to stop Judgment Day. I mean, also because, like we say, there is a bit of a time as a continuum concept here with Kyle having to come back to be John's dad.
I'm confused how Judgment Day would be possibly stopped with the whole continuum thing.
But I think in theory you can have, the time as a continuum elements and still have multiple timelines.
How?
Because you can lead to one future, but then you make a change and you're going to lead to another future. That event didn't lead to a different future. His coming back didn't lead to another future, but when other choices were made, you could make a different future. I mean, that's just my thought.
Well,
look, if you put too much time into it, you're going to ruin the movie. And I really like the movie. I don't have nearly as many complaints about time travel in this movie as I do in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So let's just, leave it at that.
Doesn't the 4th movie or whatever take place in the future?
One of them definitely does.
And then the 5th movie is garbage?
They all sound like garbage after the first 2.
Yeah, okay.
But knowing that there's also some indication given in some bit of Terminator media that literally all the movies after the first 2 take place in different continuities.
Interesting. Which
would kind of make sense with all the different retconning they do. And the fact they love to kill off John Connor.
In the 5th one, isn't John Connor... Doesn't he become a Terminator?
Terminator, yeah. Like, it's the ultimate stupid. Blasphemy.
It's so stupid.
So, like I say, having learned that they all pretty much take place in different continuities, I could go back and watch those with you now whenever you want to.
Man, this reminds me of the Goku Black Hawk in Dragon Ball Super.
This does?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's kind of similar. Well, not quite. Similar situation.
I would think the one where John Connor becomes the Terminator reminds you of that more.
But the resistant fires and everything.
Well, that's just any dystopian future.
But then the Goku Black Hawk of Dragon Ball Super. Trunks in general, just kind of Terminator guy.
Trunks is the Terminator?
No.
You mean Kyle? Kyle Reese?
No.
Okay, then I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
You mean he's like Kyle?
Trunks is a Terminator reference.
Okay.
His whole story.
So Trunks is the Kyle Reese of the Goku Black story.
Well, I was saying in general. Since he literally goes back in time to stop androids.
Well, I'm pretty sure Kyle is the only human who ever goes back into... That's the one thing that does bug me about Terminator 2, and they've never given a decent explanation for it. Kyle says specifically, one Terminator went through, he went through, then they destroyed it. Oh, no, wait, 2 more Terminators came through. Oh, 4 more Terminators, 6 more. Go on here, 8. Can I get 9? Can I get 10? 10 Terminators, 10 Terminators, 11 Terminators, 12 Terminators. Here, 12, 14, can I get 4? I mean... And apparently Kyle goes back more than once, or he gets stuck in like a weird time distortion thing where he grows up normally without the dystopian future.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Yeah, you should be. Even if you watched all the movies, you're probably going to be somewhat confused.
So did they find out that more Terminators were sent back after they sent him, and then we're like, oh, we gotta send our own back now? Or were they just trading back and forth with the time machine?
To be fair, Well, I mean, Kyle said that they destroyed it. They knew the Terminator going back through. He went through, and then his group was destroying it. That was it.
Yeah.
So I guess they could have failed. But I don't even think in Terminator 2 they really go into that much detail. But to be fair, you've seen Terminator 2 as recently as I have.
Yeah.
I didn't just go back and watch it. So Sarah have the Jetsons? She does.
Yes.
I didn't notice that the other day. Oh, time for sexy talk. And the guy's name is Matt, too. I don't know how I should feel about that.
I don't know either.
You see those photos, those pictures on the wall back there with all the different photos? We had some like that in our house where you have the little frame that shows all the different photographs.
That makes sense. We don't have a whole lot of family picture sort of things hanging nowadays.
Yeah, well, it's a little different in the digital age, too. You don't have as many photographs readily printed.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, check this out on my phone.
I need to print more pictures. That's what I'm hearing.
I did not say that.
I like family photo wall things.
So Sarah's roommate bopping around with the Walkman on. You go, oh, that's so cliche 80s, but this was like, this was
Literally
84.
80s.
It wasn't cliche at that point. It was like, yeah, that's just what people were doing. It's just a sign of the times.
Yeah. Kind of makes sense. I think I was watching Gilmore Girls recently, and they were referencing somebody having a Walkman at some point.
I had a Walkman, but guess what? I didn't have it till the 90s.
It'd be so fun if the Terminator just quit after that first kill. It's like, I did it.
Yeah.
I can go home now.
Well, no, the thing is, too, when he goes to Sarah's apartment, he kills her roommate thinking it's Sarah.
Yeah.
And if Sarah hadn't called at that point and talked to the machine saying, hey, it's Sarah, he wasn't going to investigate any further. He would have just moved on. He might have killed the rest of the Sarah Connors.
She shouldn't have called.
But unless he saw a news report saying that, and noticed that it wasn't Sarah and that this Sarah's in hiding now or something, he would have just gone on about his business and then it would have been fine.
Yeah, but
still would have been defeated.
What's he gonna do after he was done?
That's true. He can't go back. Back to the porn theater.
What's he gonna?
He becomes a bouncer at a club or something. He's just gonna live a normal life at that point.
I need a what if
He's just chilling.
Call?
Well, no, not even that. But if he accomplishes his mission and Kyle doesn't destroy him, what does he do then? Because he can't go back.
What if
Kyle
the Terminator succeeded?
Yeah, I guess Kyle and Sarah just kind of also be chilling somewhere.
I don't understand why he was on top of the shelf. Like I do, but I don't.
Because he wanted to be?
Oh, look at you,
so cute.
We're talking about the iguana.
Yes.
Not like the Terminators up there.
I did say lizard.
I didn't hear that. And if I didn't hear
Terminator Lizard Edition.
Look at the Terminator. Oh, look at the little boy.
That's the key. The Terminator, yep. Terminator thinks he's accomplished his mission. He takes the lizard and they go live together after. I think you have your art now.
Oh, man.
Terminator and the lizard. Beautiful.
Neither of us, I'm sure how to draw.
You reckon he would take a name?
I don't know.
Like he'd be like, Termy? Hello, I'm Termy. Nice to meet you.
I'm not sure that's...
It's still an acting career.
You go on to star in movies such as Running Man and Predator. Scooter.
Oh, no, so think the real Terminator succeeded.
Vidiotic theory. Arnold Schwarzenegger is really the Terminator. No, I don't mean he played him. I mean he really is the Terminator.
He's just living his life after having succeeded.
Because he's not, from what I understand, he's not artificial intelligence. He's programmed.
Yeah.
He's not. Skynet is artificial intelligence, but the Terminators, they're just programmed. So I mean, he would just carry out whatever programming he had.
Does he self-destruct afterwards?
So depending on how he was programmed, like, all right, you killed the girl, go be happy. All right. Let's go surfing now. Everybody's learning. This accent is going all over the place.
Well, Terminator is waterproof.
That's what I'm wondering.
I would imagine so.
Can you imagine the future? There's just throwing water balloons at Terminators.
Well, I'm sure with the skin and organic tissue over top, they're waterproof. And even if you get down to the exoskeleton, I would imagine it's a little tougher than just, you got splashed. Oh, there's a puddle. We stopped the Terminator. They better hope it doesn't fucking rain or we're winning.
Flood the streets.
Just piss on them, man. We don't need laser rifles, just start pissing. I broke Dylan.
Yes, you did. The cat.
Okay, I guess alternate art. You could do Kyle as Calvin peeing on a Terminator.
I think I'll stick with the lizard.
We did that as Kevin peeing on the Grave of Clerks too. That was one of my favorite thumbnails you did.
I think I've still got that image somewhere.
She's cranking up the tunes, or he cranked them up for her.
Okay.
And he's in her shirt too. That didn't look comfortable.
To each their own.
I mean, I've been in somebody else's shirt with them. I'm not sure that's the most comfortable way to be.
To each their own.
You've never put on a shirt. You never had like a big shirt and be like, come on, get inside the shirt with me or anything like that. I bet you have.
No.
Didn't we wear a pair of pants together one time?
I don't know.
It was either me and you or me and Dylan. We had the pair of pants that was like a really big pair. I think it was a pair of your mother's pants from when she was pregnant. Mm-hmm. So maybe, but yeah, Dylan would have been really small. So maybe it was me and you. We actually could both fit in them together.
Maybe.
So close enough.
Okay.
I'm saying it wasn't very comfortable. It's not like we walked around like that all day.
Yeah. The cat completely passed out on me. She got bored of the Terminator. She's finding out about
I think a second Sarah.
Connors. I almost said Kuna.
At this point.
Oh, hi, cat. You're awake now. Did you have opinions? No? Okay, you're going back to sleep.
2 Sarah Connors have been killed?
She was also alerted by the news.
Is that what happened to my previous owner?
Oh, gosh. That's a little dark. More photos on a wall.
Yeah.
Indeed.
We're in a pizza parlor, though. I'm not sure what the connections are.
I'm not 100% sure either.
Oh no, I'm next.
Sarah Connor, Sarah Ann Connor, Sarah J. Connor.
Yeah. Guess there's no Sarah E. Connors.
Guess so.
No
Were there
Sarah
any
H.
other
Connor.
Sarah Connors on the list, or just those three?
No, I don't think she was the last one.
Okay. I didn't look that closely.
Looks like some kind of a bridge back there. It looks like just stock photography, honestly.
Honestly, it probably is.
Quite
Unless they're
possibly.
shooting in a actual placing. I guess they need some sort of permission, would they?
Yeah.
I mean, I know they need permission to film in the building.
I mean, unless you're just
building had
going to go
photographs on
total
the wall.
gorilla and hope nobody notices. Technically, yeah, you would need, at the very least, permission from the owners, and you might need permits as well.
Yeah.
How you like Sarah's 80s fit?
It's
For just a
an
night at a
outfit.
pizza parlor. I mean, she had like a
It
nice...
should have shoulder pads.
I think,
Probably.
yeah, small ones. They're not real pronounced, but that jacket's definitely got a little bit of padding in the shoulders.
I'm not crazy about the shoulder pads. That's a trend I could probably do without.
I think if they're not too over the top like those, I think they work.
I mean, I did have a dress that I really liked that had shoulder pads in it, but I still wasn't crazy about it. It wasn't all good.
How do you like the hair?
The hair's fine.
Yeah, it's not as big as some 80s hair could get.
Honestly, I'm sure there's some 80s styles that I'm not crazy about, but for the most part, 80s hair, I don't mind.
Got a nice feathered look.
It's got a look. That's what I know.
She just passed by a mullet.
Okay.
There's the mullet again.
Yes. Doesn't look
Mullet.
that bad.
It's a lady mullet, though.
Mullet.
Is it still a mullet if a girl's wearing
I
it?
think so.
Yes.
And she's not a real bush girl?
I think so.
Mullets are gender neutral.
I mean, that was just like a standard
Oh,
wrestler.
mullets are 100% gender.
That was just like a standard wrestler haircut for the longest time. I didn't even know it had a name. And then Billy Ray Cyrus came out and said, oh, he's got a mullet.
Interesting.
Like, oh, that's what that's called. Some people call it hockey hair, too. I guess it was common amongst hockey players.
Maybe. I
At
don't know
that
much
time.
about hockey players. I know nowadays non-binary folk and other
Like to be called hockey?
things like that.
What's your gender? I'm
What you
hockey.
call it? Like the mullet and those like wolf haircuts, I think is what it's called.
The wolf cuts?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
No, I'm not really a mullet fan. Like, it looked okay on some of the wrestlers who rock. Like Shawn Michaels' mullet didn't look that bad.
Some mullets are nice, some are meh.
Lex had a mullet occasionally, and it was fine.
Didn't what's his name modernly have a mullet?
Go too hard on the mullet, though. Like, I wasn't crazy about Mike Awesome's mullet.
Understandable. Like I said, some mullets look fine, others not so much.
Interesting fact about the Walkman. It wasn't the Walkman, it was like the transistor radio that Sony made, which would be the precursor to the Walkman. The transistor radio was a little portable radio.
Yes.
And they advertised that it would fit in a standard man's pocket, but they couldn't make it small enough, so they actually made shirts with bigger pockets.
That's one solution to the problem.
See?
Pugsley.
Little jump scare there.
Mm-hmm. His name is
The
Pugsley.
Terminator.
The lizard.
Named Pugsley.
Probably after the Addams Family character.
Okay.
That's literally the only time I've ever heard Pugsley.
So cute, though. Oh my gosh, the cat passed back
Does it
out.
punch the pillow?
Maybe. Probably. That's an option. Oof.
I mean, Matt kind of holds his own, considering he's fighting an almost unstoppable What did I even say there?
I don't know.
Unstoppable cyborg.
He laughed
He's
twice.
thrown around.
Yeah, but he's hanging in there.
Yeah.
He's not dead yet.
I mean, if it was just a regular dude, you'd be like, yeah, he's getting his ass kicked. But since we know he's an unstoppable, almost unstoppable futuristic cyborg,
Every time they cut back, he's getting thrown somewhere else.
I just feel bad for the sandwich. She worked so hard on that sandwich.
That's the sandwich. That's a big sandwich.
I thought you were going to say that's a big gun.
No, I was still thinking about the sandwich.
Honestly, considering the way she dove, I'm surprised we didn't get a little more gratuitous panty shot. That would feel like something you get in an 80s movie.
Okay.
He's a super futuristic robot and he still needs the laser sight. Wow.
Yeah. Maybe it's just there for aesthetic purposes.
I mean, why not take any advantage you can get?
That's true, too.
Yeah, see, this is it right here where Sarah... I mean, obviously Sarah had no way of knowing that the Terminator was literally in her house right that minute.
Machines need love too. Maybe that's all the Terminator needed. Some love.
He'll get it from the lizard.
No, well, what?
Oh, not like that! Oh, you are cuddling a cat right now. Don't tell me you don't understand what I meant.
I was checking something for the podcast on my phone. I did not 100% listen to what Joe was saying. I heard part of that. I'm
Dylan
like, hold
said
up a second.
robot machines
what?
need love too. Maybe that's all the Terminator needed. And I said in our little fictional future, where he goes off to live with the lizard, he'll get it from the lizard.
Okay.
So you don't tell me you can't understand the love of a pet.
Yes,
or the
I
love of a
can.
pet for its person.
Absolutely. I have 3 cats. I watched a video of somebody baby wrapping their cat today. It furthered my desire to buy a baby wrap.
See, I think Sarah's ID, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a school, well, it is a school ID.
Yeah.
So it does plant the idea that she might be in college.
Yeah.
Which would put her generally in the 18 to 22 range.
Generally.
Obviously, you could be younger and you could certainly be older, but just
Yeah.
in a movie, if you're going to put a character in college, unless it's going to be a plot point, they're probably going to be the stereotypical age for it.
Yeah. According to that one article, though, according to Terminator 3, she was born in 1956.
Again, Terminator 3 is the one that starts playing with the time. Plus, there's also a bit of, well, Linda Hamilton is probably close to age appropriate in 1984. But then Terminator 2 wasn't made until 1990, so it's 6 years later. I mean, it is 11 years later, so that works. But then by the time they make Terminator 3,
here quickly.
which is probably like 19 years later or so, given when it came out, and depending on how far in the future it's supposed to be, maybe she's not really age appropriate, so they retcon it to fit more what Linda Hamilton's real age is.
Yeah. I was going to say, according to that article, again, I did not fact check it or anything, but she was about 28 when she and played this role.
Okay, Alex, but you know people tended to play...
Yes, I know.
It wasn't uncommon for people to play younger, especially if they looked younger.
I think even nowadays that's the case.
Canada Dry, she just knocked it over. Good thing she did, too, because the Terminator totally overlooked her.
Yeah.
Super futuristic, super intelligent robot.
Doesn't have X-ray vision.
Can't bother to stop for a minute, just quick glance, that's all I need. We should point out, too, it's kind of specious that guy's clothes fit Arnold so well. Arnold's considerably bigger than that.
Yeah.
Maybe not
honestly.
taller, but...
I've sent y'all a quiz.
You're that concerned about us being able to carry the conversation for the rest of the show, you're like, we need...
Oh no, I started looking this up at the beginning of the show, but then I changed.
We've already delved into lizard love, we need quiz.
Oh gosh.
Oh, skinny tie.
I like that necklace, kind of.
I
A little
didn't see
bit
that.
big and
I was
bold,
focused on the tie.
Okay. You can't see the necklace now, unfortunately.
That guy has a single fingerless glove on. That's 80s as fuck. And this movie is very well representative of the 80s, at least in its fashion.
I mean, it is kind of mid-'80s, so that makes sense.
I don't think they really tried to, they're just like, whatever people are wearing now, that's what they're wearing. We're
like the middle of a decade can sometimes often be that kind of decade.
Like you try to make a movie and what people look like in the 80s, you're going to get close to this, but you're probably not going to hit the mark exactly.
Oh, gosh.
But this one was definitely of its time.
I was just saying, the middle of a decade can sometimes be what's kind of defining of it later on in terms of style and whatnot, what it gets summarized into. We're approaching that point of the 2020s.
It feels like when you look at decades as far as trends and fashion, it's not so much the actual calendar, 0 to 9. It's more like the later half of a decade into the first half of the next decade.
Yeah.
Because late 70s looks like early 80s. Late 80s looks like early 90s. So that tends to be how... And, of course, some things only last a year or so, or even less maybe sometimes. So they just kind of get caught in the generalizations, or they're just sort of left to the ether, but they're there.
The cat is now cuddling my phone.
Seems like he reloads very slowly and goes to fire again very slowly.
Maybe.
He was overconfident. Come with me if you want to live. Everybody always quotes Arnold saying it in the second movie because they put the accent on it, but there's the origin of it.
Nice. Yeah, we were watching this. I'm like, hold up, I thought that was one of Arnold's lines.
It is. He uses it in the second. In fact, I think that's one that's used not only multiple times in the Terminator franchise, but also in multiple... Well, no, I'll Be Back is the one that Arnold uses throughout more of his films that aren't Terminator, but the Come With Me If You Want to Live is used in multiple Terminator stories.
Good to know.
But that's the origin of it. It's Kyle's line originally. Just like Luke said, I've got a bad feeling about this in Star Wars, even though everybody thinks it's Han's line.
Dawn, he sees in Virtual Boy colors. Sucks for him.
Wonder how he felt when he's living that life. I see nothing different. Looks normal. Honestly, he may have different displays too. He may be able to see in different ranges depending on what he's trying to see.
That would make sense.
Like especially being nighttime now.
I'd say, do you think he has a night vision mode?
I would guess so.
He just punches straight through the windshield.
He's a fucking Terminator.
Yes, I know.
I don't think that. Oh, there's no way he could punch right through that windshield.
No, he was definitely designed to punch.
No, that can't happen. No way. The I'll Be Back line, of course, makes its debut in this movie. When Arnold's the Terminator's at the police station. I always erroneously thought he said it first in Commando, which is probably my favorite Schwarzenegger movie.
Okay.
This would be a strong contender for number 2, but actually Commando came out the year after this.
Interesting.
So this is actually the genesis of I'll Be Back. Of course, he says it again in the second movie, and he said it in multiple other movies as well.
Such as?
I think he says it in The Running Man, which was like 87.
Did he say it in 86 at all?
I don't know if he had a movie out in 86, unless Conan the Destroyer was out in 86.
What was he doing in 86?
Because Terminator's 84, Commando's 85, Predator and Running Man are both 87. Terminator 2 is 91. I can't remember if Twins is late 80s or early 90s. Same with Kindergarten Cop. So yeah, I'm not sure when Conan the Destroyer came out. I'm
going to attempt to look it up.
Because the original Conan would have been like 82, 83. So I'm not sure if the sequel would come out yet or not.
I'm not sure the cat wants me looking this.
Where did you learn to drive?
What was I looking up?
Probably just Schwarzenegger movies and their release dates. Probably just go to Wikipedia and list of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
Okay.
Would probably satiate you.
And now we end up on a tangent reading about the history of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, sometime in this speech that Kyle's giving her is when he says that he's from one possible future.
Yeah.
Which is a line I apparently never noticed. I used to watch this movie all the time when I was a kid. But to be fair, the time Dylan and I watched it a couple years ago was probably the first time I'd seen it since the 80s. And then when you and I watched it the other day, it would have been the first time I saw it since 5 years ago.
At least.
When Dylan and I watched it. I think it was 2019 when he and I watched it.
He's Austrian.
Yeah, Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
What did you think he was?
I didn't really think.
Apparently.
I figured he wasn't American. But that's about as far as I got. Oh, what the fuck, cat? Why are you kicking me? Where's the list of his things?
I mean, I call the Terminator cyborg too, and that's what Kyle calls him, because he is organic mixed with machines. But technically he's a machine that just has like an organic covering, so I wasn't sure if that was the proper term.
I was thinking
of cyborgs being more like a human with stuff built onto them, but...
Like DC's cyborg?
This is sort of a special case too, because I don't think anybody's making machines and growing organic tissue that can bleed and sweat. He does say he sweats, so I guess that answers the question that I had earlier. And I even remember Kyle saying that, so I'm not sure why I said that.
Okay. So I read through Sam Jackson's film look last time. Shall I read through Arnold's this time?
If that's what you want to do.
Okay, great.
Although I do want to, draw attention to Kyle's speech here. Did he say it already? Did I miss it, Dylan?
I don't think he did.
They have two different conversations. They have a conversation in this car, and then a conversation in the next car they switch to. Or maybe it's a conversation after they're at the police station and get a new car.
Okay. Do you think I can find Hot Wheels of these cars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably at least some of them.
Need all of them.
Yeah, fresh skin, hair, blood, grown from the cyborgs. So like I say, it's not exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, at some point, I know they're talking in a car, and he says, she's like, you're from the future? And he's like, one possible future. Curious about that scar on Michael Biehn. I wonder if that was just an effect for the movie, or if that's really a scar.
I don't know.
Because it looks so specific, but it's like it's never explored, of course. And it could just be like, he needs to have some scarring, and that's what they came up with. Yeah, here we go. Not for about 40 years. Hey, this is 40 years now. He nailed that. At least when it comes to AI. One possible future, there you go.
Yep.
Don't know how that always just, washed over me before.
It's easy to miss things sometimes. But okay. Arnold Schwarzenegger film, starting in 1970.
Wait, Hercules in New York would be the first one, right?
Yes.
Unless it'd be either that or the bodybuilding documentary Pumping Iron.
No, it's actually Hercules in New York, The Long Goodbye, Stay Hungry, Pumping Iron, The Villain,
the second two.
Scavenger Hunt, Conan the Barbarian.
I forgot about The Villain.
That one was 82.
I haven't seen it. I just remember it being talked about because I was a big Arnold fan, and when you're a big fan of somebody, you want to find out some of their other roles.
And then in 84, he had Conan the Destroyer and the Terminator.
Okay.
And then 85 was Red. How do you pronounce that?
Sonja.
Okay, that's what I figured. But
Red Sonja was that old? Wow. I never got around. That was one I'd see at the movie store and be like, I should rent that sometime, but I never got around to it.
Commando is also 85.
Love Commando. We're totally watching that next year. You haven't seen that yet, but
Correct.
You need to see it.
Alright, his 86 movie was Raw Deal.
Oh, yeah. I never saw that one either. That's another one. I'd look at the box art and the poster in the video store, but never get around to.
Yeah.
A lot of movies. Alien was one of those movies. I'd look at the poster a lot, but I never really wanted to see it. It's like, wow, that looks awesome, but I don't want to see it.
Understandable. Okay, and then Predator, The Running Man, Red Heat, Twins, Total Recall.
Okay, so Twins was 80s.
Kindergarten Cop. Those two started the 90s.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that one. I knew it was either early 90s or late 80s.
Yeah, it was 1990. And then 91. Terminator 2, Judgment Day, and the years keep changing. He only does one or two every so often.
Yeah. Those bigger movies would take longer to shoot and have a little bit longer shelf life. Now, hold on. 91 was Terminator 2. So, I'm not sure about 92. 93 would be Last Action Hero.
Yep, 92 he didn't have anything. 93 he had Dave, Last Action Hero, and Beretta's Island.
Okay, Dave, he must just have a cameo, and he doesn't star.
Yeah,
That's
cameo
a Kevin
as
Kline
himself.
movie. And Beretta's Island. God, I never heard of that.
He plays himself, and it's a direct-to-video and cameo.
Okay, yeah. So then Last Action, then he had True Lies would be 94.
Yep, as well as Junior.
Another one of my favorite. Oh, we're not even talk about that. And then Jingle All the Way would be like 96.
Yes, also in 96 is Eraser and T2 3D Battle Across Time.
I think that's a video game.
No, it's under his film thing, but it says theme park attraction later on in the chart. So.
Yeah,
but it's considered a film role.
And then End of Days would be before the end of the 90s.
Yes, End of Days was 99, but in 97 was Batman and Robin.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze role. And then he didn't do a whole lot of that because he's going to be governor of California before too long.
Yeah, but 2000, The Sixth Day. 2002, Collateral Damage. 2003 was Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, and The Rundown. I think that's when he started.
The Rundown is just small. That's The Rock's first big starring role. And Arnold has like a cameo. They meet like in a bar, and Arnold kind of passes the torch to The Rock.
Yeah, according to this, it's an uncredited cameo.
Yeah, well, he's definitely in it. Everybody could tell that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He was governor, 2003 to 2011? Something like that? I think that's what his Wikipedia
Did he have... Oh, gosh, I'm surprised he had that long. Because, I mean, I don't think he was very popular as governor. I think he's considered...
Well, somebody else can pull up the Wikipedia page.
I think he was pretty much a failure as governor. I mean, again, not having lived in California, I don't know.
I don't know either. I was just on the Wikipedia page, but oh no, the cat clicked something. Okay, I have the list back up. We're fine. This cat is passed out. Why are you clicking things? I will read through the list, don't worry. You must know when he was governor, though.
He was definitely elected in 2003.
Okay. You having fun over there, Gaba?
Yeah, he did win re-election, so...
Gaba is, very focused on the subtitles right now.
I'm watching the movie.
Okay, anyway, so 2003 through 2011 is when he was governor, but 2004, Around the World in 80 Days, 2005, The Kid and I, 2010, The Expendables, and then 2012, The Expendables 2, so now we go out of his governor days. And into the rest of the 2010s. The Last Stand, Escape Plan, Sabotage, The Expendables 3, Maggie, Terminator Genesis, Aftermath, Wonders of the Sea 3D, Killing Gunther, The Game Changers. How is that pronounced?
I don't know. Where are we?
2019, the top one.
I don't know. It says VIY2, Journey to China.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that. I don't know what that is.
Okay, well, that's what kicked off 2019. And Terminator Dark Fate.
Yeah, I thought that one was going to be good, but then I found out they killed John off in it, and it's like, that's sort of blasphemous. The whole point of the first two movies was to keep John alive, and I was like, nah, he's just dead. Who cares? I don't mind adding new characters to the mix or focusing on somebody else, but if you're going to kind of go away from... It's like Wreck-It Ralph, too, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we got to get Penelope back in place in her game, and then it's like, nah, I don't really want to be in that game anymore. I'm going somewhere else. Like, it's okay to grow and change. I'm just saying. Like, let's not pull a Steven Universe future and completely erase everything we built up.
Apparently he appeared in or did something for the epic rap battles of history.
Good for him.
For the Terminator versus RoboCop episode.
Ugh, I hate RoboCop.
I found out my friend who really likes Terminator 2 also does not care for RoboCop.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. First time I ever heard of RoboCop was on the only plane ride I remember. I mean, obviously we had a layover, we switched planes. I had to go somewhere, I came back on a plane. When I was a baby, I was on a plane, but the series of plane rides that I remember, I got it. One of the flight attendants gave me a deck of cards and had the RoboCop branded cards, but they were just plain cards just on the back instead of some, generic design. It had the RoboCop and the RoboCop font. Yeah. And that was like a year before the movie came out. And I honestly, I thought it was going to be like a cartoon movie or something. Hearing, RoboCop, that sounds cool. I didn't know it was going to be a hyper-violent...
You've been on a plane?
Action. Yes. Yes, I am a snake. I used to be a man. Yeah, I got those cards. I had, pilot's wings, too.
Interesting. Never been on a plane.
But then I saw RoboCop the next year, and it scarred me for life, and I'll never watch it again.
Sorry.
I did have RoboCop action figures, though, even after seeing it.
Were the figures cool, at least?
I mean, they were RoboCop figures.
Okay.
They were what they were. I had Commando action figures, too, and they were big, like the G.I. Joe dolls, where they had, and you could, you could take Schwarzenegger's clothes off and strip him down to his bikini. Well, in the movie, that's how he swims to the island.
Yeah.
And then he puts his gear on, he gets his vest on. And
wait, what scale doll figure thing was this?
They were they were obviously heftier then, but they were probably the same height as Barbie dolls.
Hell yeah. I found a new kin.
And it had, made-up characters. I think there might have been a cartoon or something that went along with it. And, one of his antagonists was a guy called, Psycho. and he had like a pink vest, and he wore like a hockey mask and had like a mohawk. And I was in my grandparents' pool, and I was playing with him in the pool, and I tossed him out, and he hit the cement, and his head broke off. Well, you could put it back on, but it could come off. And so then I turned him into my version of Warren Zevon's song, Rolling the Headless Thompson Gunner.
Nice.
So that's some esoteric use of my action figures.
Nice. And I don't really like action figures, but I take some of the older ones that were about the same
What do you mean you
size
don't
as
like
Barbie.
action figures? Who doesn't like action figures? Action figures are awesome.
They're hardly posable, and you can't take off their clothes.
Action figures are
As
awesome.
far as the posable part, it depends on how they're made. Like the
It
G.I. Joe
does.
figures, they're very posable.
Yeah, that is true. One of my friends has an older G.I. Joe. Even his fingers are posable, and that's awesome.
Most of the G.I. Joes did not have opposable fingers, but they did have multiple joints. Eventually they'd get joints in the knees and elbows, and some of them have wrists that would swivel, or their arms would swivel and bend at the elbow. Their head would move. Those are the best figures, and they're also the best figures for wrestling. I don't know why they never made wrestling figures with that much articulation.
I don't know.
Like
But
the
that's my thing is-
original WWF wrestling figures sucked. They were big rubber dolls that didn't move.
Yeah.
And then they got the smaller versions, and they would have like one action move. Like they'd have hinged arms. They
I
could
hate
like do a
those.
move, or they could, spring at the waist.
Yeah, I
They
hate
looked a lot like the characters, even though they were all about the same height, so there wasn't much differentiation
Yeah.
in height. And then the first WCW action figures looked really good, and they had differences in heights. They looked very much, but they were complete. They were like the big rubber dolls. They were just smaller versions of them. So they looked cool,
Interesting.
but you could do certain moves.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they never made. If they ever did, I never had any anyway. But
Yeah. Just
none
too
of the-
commonly, I have experienced
None
a
of the
lot
wrestling
of...
figures I ever saw were as posable as the G.I. Joe. And the G.I. Joe figures, the little 3.5-inch ones with all the different
Yeah.
moving parts, they're perfect. You can do pretty much any wrestling move you want with them. They're the best to wrestle with. All my favorite wrestlers that I created were created based on G.I. Joe figures.
Nice.
Like the Target, and that was an acronym, Target, but they had like a black suit and a blue helmet, that was Storm, and one of the Crimson Twins, that was the franchise.
Uh-huh.
Terminator fixing his wound. This was always one of the cool scenes. Stuff like this always looked really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, this cybernetic robot performing surgery on himself. That just looks neat, man. He's cutting in, and then you see the working mechanics underneath. Even like Luke, when you could see his robot arm being repaired, I always thought that looked cool. Doesn't that look neat?
Some of it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, this is a fine scene. I didn't like the scene of him cutting his arm open.
And I mean, it holds up too. Now there are a couple of shots here when he's dealing with his wounded eye.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've read about it. They made like a prosthetic face. I don't think he wore it. It may have just been an actual,
Yeah.
mannequin face.
Yeah.
But you can tell it's fake. You can tell it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't really hurt it that much because he's not real. Like
Yeah.
he is, but he is clearly a cybernetic skeleton wearing a flesh mask. So you can kind of buy it, but you can definitely tell when it's the real Schwarzenegger face versus when it's the model.
Makes sense. Anyway, back to action figures. I was trying to say, I'm just used to a lot of action figures that don't pose a lot or have those set movements and you can't change the clothes. And I don't like that. And that reminds me of this time they released some dolls to go along with a Star Wars series that focused on the different female characters. And I was super excited. That was going to be really cool. And then it turned out most of them were pretty much just oversized action figures. Most of them had plastic molded on clothes and set moves, and I hated it.
The actor
And I've hated it since.
the actor playing the psychiatrist there.
Yeah.
He's another actor you see in a lot of
He
80s
looks
and
familiar.
90s movies, but also his character comes back in at least the next 2 Terminator movies as well,
Interesting.
which is kind of cool. But he's such a dick. I would have thought it was cool if they killed him in one of them. But
Probably
actually,
makes sense.
going back to action figures, at this point, the kind of collector I am, I'm probably going to keep them in the package anyway. I might
Makes
buy one
sense.
for like Johnny to play with, for me to play with Johnny, but if I just want it for myself, it's just going to be in the package anyway, so it doesn't have to be superposable.
Yeah, I like my posable stuff. I mean, I don't buy a whole lot of that stuff now, but I still like to take the toys out and actually get to see and experience and then put them on the shelf, you know?
The only kind of toy I'm probably going to take out of the package at this point would be Lego.
Makes
And that's
sense.
because I want to actually build
Oh
the
my
figure.
gosh. I saw a advent calendar. It's not an official Lego one, but each day you get a small box and you build like part of a tree. So then at the end of the thing, you have a fully Lego style
Gotcha.
tree built.
Watch this scene here. If you watch some of the shots, like there, you can tell that's not his real face.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
It looks waxy. It looks fake. But then again, especially in 1984, you're not looking at HD.
It's not too off.
You're not looking at HD TV screens, so I don't even know how noticeable it is in the original prints of the film. And also, like I say, okay, it's not supposed to be real. So maybe from some, I mean, it is real, but it's not.
Yeah.
So, maybe from some angles, it's just going to look that way.
Yeah.
But it is something that stood out to me, at least on this rewatch.
Makes sense.
It's like right there, that's obviously not Schwarzenegger's face. I don't know if he's got some kind of a mask on or if the whole thing's just an animatronic.
I don't know.
And then you can see pretty much once he puts the glasses on and they go to the next shot, it looks different. Right there, like, obviously it looks different.
Yeah.
If you know to look for it, you can see the difference. But like I say, watching, especially the first time watching it, you're just into the plot. Interesting that he felt the need to hide the guns under the match. Like, who was going to come in to get him?
Good point.
And he switched to the leather jacket, which is more in line with the iconic poster. But in the poster, I don't think he's got a shirt on under the jacket. And I'm not sure how I feel about the green pants with the jacket. He needs... I do like the leather look he has in the second movie better.
Okay. I haven't seen the second movie yet.
Yeah, I know. Well, 1991, so we've got a few years before the next anniversary.
A couple of years.
What did I say?
A few.
Close enough?
A few is 3 in my world. I don't know the actual definition.
Who says I want to be in your world? And here's Kyle explaining why they had to come through naked and have some Arnold dick. Nothing inorganic can come through. Which, I mean, technically the Terminator's not organic underneath, but I guess having the layer of flesh and blood and tissue was enough to cover it up. You only have to be
so organic.
So I'm just saying, I mean, I guess they didn't have a lot of time because they found the time machine and realized the Terminator went through and then they just had to go, but they could have, like, found, like, some dead guy's arm and, like, taken out the bone and shoved a gun in it, sewn it up, and then he could have brought it through. I'm just saying there were workarounds.
Apparently.
Probably, anyway. I'm not exactly sure how the tissue works on the Terminator.
Yeah.
As far as, I guess it's still alive, even though it's on a robot.
I mean, if it's just about being organic material, in theory, you could send a corpse through.
Yeah, but what would be the point?
I don't know.
Other than, like, smuggle weapons or something.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was saying with the arm. Or, like, they could, like, sewn a gun into Kyle's leg or something.
Oh, God.
Oh, come on. You never heard of a smuggler, like, stitching something up inside their body? I didn't just make that up.
Awful. I think a ferret has joined us.
Get a better look at Sarah's shirt here. The pink tie-dye, how you like it.
It's okay. I'm not crazy about tie-dye.
How do we like the plaid shirt that the psychiatrist has underneath the sweater vest?
It's okay as well.
It's not a sweater vest, just a V-neck sweater.
I don't like the colors of it.
You tend to comment on the fashion, so if you're not saying anything about it, I gotta bring certain things up to get your opinion.
Makes sense. I prefer the red sort of plaid shirt he's got. But that's just because I prefer red over green usually. Technically the green plaid flannel whatever shirt on the other guy is fine. It's more so the sweater situation over it that I don't care for the color of. I'm not sure how crazy I am about that guy's suit jacket thing.
Yeah, it looks like it's made out of the same material as the couch.
It honestly does. The couch used to be bigger.
The couch is very comfortable. It used to be several of my jackets. You'll love it. I always did. It's almost time for the iconic line.
Different posters over there. I couldn't really see any of them.
I saw rodeo on it.
Okay. No, he's not. Hey, Cat. You awake for this scene?
Guy's got thick glasses and a thick mustache. And thick sideburns. He's like, I'm committed to it. This is my look.
Put him in Harvey's outfit.
They call me Thick Nick. How do we like Schwarzenegger shades? I'll be back. There it is. Fine. The first instance of the first utterance of the iconic line that would reappear multiple times in Schwarzenegger's career.
Nice.
Like I said, that's another one I think a lot of people associate more with Terminator 2 when he's playing the hero.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least the good guy robot.
That would probably make sense. Yeah, he crashes in. Oof. I'm not sure that guy's okay.
What was the point of that, really? He could have just broken the door and walked through?
Indeed, he could.
I mean, that just seemed
that
like
made for a
overkill.
cooler shot.
I know, but in the context of the movie, I'm not sure what the point of it was.
He really wanted to.
Like,
He's not programmed to find the quickest path.
There was nothing that was going to stop him.
I thought you said he was wearing green pants.
They looked green at the motel. They do look more gray now.
I have no idea.
They look more like a dark green at the motel.
He changed pants in the car.
It is possible. It could just be a continuity error.
I wasn't paying that much attention previously. I apologize for ignoring the fashion. They look brown in that shot.
It is interesting that I know Kyle had a shotgun, and especially at close range, that's going to pack more punch than these handguns, but it seems like nothing the cops are shooting at him are having any effect.
That's because they're all missing, they suck.
Stormtroopers.
Look, Obi-Wan even says in the first movie that only stormtroopers would be that precise with their shots. So that's just a myth about stormtroopers not being good at aiming, whatever.
That's fair.
Only stormtroopers, though.
Myth.
I mean, that's what he says.
I think a lot of people could be more precise than
I mean, I feel like a Jedi would be.
Boba Fett would be.
Well, I'm just saying, to be fair, the original stormtroopers were. I mean, Boba Fett was from the same clone group as the original stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And I don't think Obi-Wan... Well, he has met Boba Fett, but he doesn't know what he's gone on to do necessarily at that point. Their paths probably didn't cross much. Since Boba was a kid. He's one-handing that shotgun.
Yeah.
In the second movie, he's like one-handing it and pumping it and one-handing it again. He's like, boom, boom.
Fire behind him.
Sounds like the name of an 80s movie.
He got a little
behind
bit.
him.
He got a little bit knocked back by that bullet.
Okay.
Okay.
Just a tiny bit.
They finally realized, oh wait, we need to show a lot more
Those
of that.
bullets,
Doesn't
the
make
bullets
sense.
didn't do anything to them.
Yeah, you would think the machine gun, just the rapid fire and the amount of bullets you're putting in them would do something.
Yeah.
Something.
The single pistol did more than the machine gun.
How long do you think he would have searched for her until he found her?
Until he found her?
Completely destroyed the place.
I mean, yeah, that was his... like I say, he's working on a program. He's going to carry out his programming.
True.
He doesn't... I don't think he has any way to reason. They never give any indication that the... I mean, I guess they do sort of in the later movies because they can... I don't know about in Terminator 2 so much, but maybe in some of the later ones you see them growing and adapting, but even that can be something of your programming. I mean, it's not indicated that they are artificial intelligence, just that they're created and controlled by artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm not even sure that artificial intelligence is ever uttered in the movie until maybe some of the later iterations.
Okay.
I'm not sure that was a buzzword back in the early 80s.
I don't know.
But that's certainly what's indicated. The machines got too smart.
Yeah.
Whee!
And if it can't learn and grow on its own, it's only going to get as smart as you program it to be.
That is true.
Fade out. KFLB News, time 4:30. In the top story of the hour, the largest single law enforcement mobilization in California history is currently underway. I guess it's 4:30 a.m., not p.m.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I swear it said p.m., though.
If it did, I have questions. I don't think I've ever seen it be dark at 4:30 p.m.
Yeah, and I mean, it was dark by the time he was at the police station even, so...
I thought she was in a t-shirt earlier. That's how much I was not paying attention.
Well, she had a jacket on.
That's
the tie-dye shirt, that is the tie-dye shirt I pointed out.
Yeah.
As far as exactly what was under the jacket when she was at the club, I assume it was that shirt. It was pink.
Yeah. I kind of like the
white
jeans
boots.
she has.
How'd you like her boots?
They're okay. I hadn't paid much
I feel
attention
like you had a
to
pair
them
of boots like that were just tan instead of white.
I had like some tan Ugg-styled boots.
Yeah, these would predate Uggs, but similar style.
They're like the slipper sort of style. I like those boots, but I want some like actual like going outside Ugg-styled boots. I like those. Nice boots. Best in that kind of beige tan color, in my opinion. Even though I have seen a pink pair that has cute little bows on the back. Cat sneeze.
Bless you, cat.
Plus the kitty.
So this quiz that you sent us.
Yes.
What type of Terminator are you?
Yep, it's look, I looked up
figured it was
Terminator
something
quizzes,
Terminator-centric.
and I found like 3 or 4 that were all the same topic, so I just clicked on one.
Okay.
I'm not sure we were going to find much else. Also, hopefully my phone survives this.
I mean, how many different types of Terminators are there exactly?
I don't know. I've only seen
There's
the
the
first
T-800,
movie.
the T-1000. There's whatever the female Terminator is in...
The female Terminator?
Yeah, in Terminator 3, the bad guy Terminator is the girl.
Interesting.
And I think in Terminator Dark Fate, the most recent one, I think the bad guy Terminator is a girl.
Interesting. Again, I've only seen the first one.
We don't even want to talk about Terminator Genesis.
Okay.
And then Terminator Salvation takes place in the future, and I'm not sure there's a flat-out Terminator. I mean, there probably is, but I know, like, the main potential antagonist is, like, a cybernetically enhanced human.
Yeah. So, quiz.
Yeah, if you want to.
Yes.
This is some important exposition here. She had asked about John's father. Kyle said he didn't know that John said he died before the war.
That is true.
And he refers to Sarah as the legend. I think we missed the bit where Kyle gives Sarah the message from John where he says the future's not set.
Maybe. Definitely happened, though.
So this quiz you sent us is on slideshow.com.
Sideshow.
It does say slideshow. I've read a slideshow 4 times before you pointed that out.
Easy to do.
I'm not sure I like this quiz, honestly.
I'm sorry.
Who says I want to be a Terminator?
Well, in this universe you are.
Not in this universe.
No, not in the current one. I'm saying in this fictional one that the quiz is based in. How? You were digging your
How many
claws in
people
me,
go back
man.
and watch this movie now who are from later generations? Like, what's a checkbook?
Oh, gosh. Robert, you know what a checkbook is, right?
Yes.
So it's like, I can't even balance my checkbook. Like, what is that supposed to mean? I can balance a book. No, here's the message. I can't help you with what you must face except to say that the future is not set. Right there. Plain as day. And this whole time, Dylan and I have been under the impression that, well, the future's set. We can't change it.
To be fair, he could be wrong.
I mean, we can... To be fair, we obviously knew the future could change to some degree because the Skynet's trying to change the future.
Well, they're trying, but they don't know that that's actually how it works.
Right, but if at some point we thought somebody said in the movies that you can't stop Judgment
If they didn't
Day.
try to change the future wouldn't have happened.
So if you can't stop Judgment Day, it insinuates you can't change the future. And if you can't change the future, then they never had to worry about Terminator going back because he wasn't going to succeed anyway. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, but if they didn't find change the future would have never happened. The future only happens because they try to change the future.
I know, in more ways than one, too, because the Terminator parts get left behind in Cyberdyne Engine.
Yeah.
Apparently in the original script, too, there's a pan-up that shows that the climactic fight at the end happened at Cyberdyne. And that's where they, and there was a scene of, like, some of the engineers finding the parts. So all that was actually in there originally. It wasn't just created with the second movie.
Yeah, even if he says that the future can be changed, that doesn't mean he's correct.
Right, but still, you and I have been under the impression that that it said somewhere
Yeah.
there that you can't do it, and we were completely wrong about that.
Yes. You're wrong, Gabba. Accept it, admit it. And move back on to the
I
quiz.
still feel like it can't apply since, this already happened. This only happened because they went back. So, like, no, they didn't
Yeah,
change
no,
it.
I understand
They
that.
got
I understand that part of it.
Quiz.
And you could argue
yeah,
that if
yeah.
Kyle knew that, he wouldn't have done what he needed to do, and he needed to not know. And I get it all, but I'm just saying, we were always very stalwart about, you can't stop Judgment Day. That's what they said. And yeah, no, they didn't.
Yeah.
Do we want to read this out loud?
I figured you
I already
probably
went with my
would.
quiz.
Oh, you're done?
Yeah.
Come on, Galba.
I didn't know we were being out loud. I was trying to get back to the movie.
What do you think of humans? They are tedious. They are inferior. They are examples to us all.
Yeah,
they are worth saving. They are okay. I have no opinions about humans. Can I, like all of the above, except for I have no opinions? Can you choose more than one?
No.
What type of weapon would you most likely carry into battle? I am the weapon. What do you think of time travel? How evil are you, really? Do I need to be honest?
I mean, it says really.
The options for the record: extremely evil, somewhat evil, neutral, formerly evil, now good, not evil at all. I should have changed my answer for that one, but I guess I can't go back.
I'm sorry.
I wasn't really thinking when I clicked.
I'm sorry.
What type of computer do you use? I am the computer. I am the computer. Yes, I like that was one of the suggestions for the role of the Terminator. If Arnold had played Kyle Reese, was Stallone's the Terminator.
That could have been interesting.
Fuck you, asshole. I'll be back. Yeah, he doesn't say much.
That is true.
What is your favorite Terminator catchphrase? I think Sly could have been Kyle. It might not have been as good as Michael Biehn, but
I don't know.
I can't see anybody but Arnold as the Terminator at this point.
Yeah, that's fair.
You could stick some other people in Solid Snake's role there. No, you don't. Literally, the cover of
yeah.
What's the name of the game? Metal Gear. The cover of Metal Gear, the U.S. version of Metal Gear on the NES. They literally just lifted a picture of Kyle from this movie.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
around
color corrected a bit. Sometime around here, there's a shot of him holding his gun, and he's got that vest and he's got the headgear on and everything. It's just like the color is slightly different. That's it. The contrast is maybe adjusted a little bit, but that's it. When we were watching the other day, I was trying to look for the exact moment, and I'm not sure that I could spot it, but
sometime around here.
I think you could find a still of it online if you looked for it. What is your favorite Terminator catchphrase? Come with me if you want to live. Hasta la vista, baby. I'll be back. Talk to the hand. I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Ooh, lots of flashing lights.
Yes, indeed.
I didn't notice it until I looked away. I could just see it out the corner of my eye, and it's like, oh shit, that's a lot.
I mean, if anybody answers they'd rather fight for Skynet in this quiz, I don't want to know them.
That's fair.
What does it matter what my favorite genre of music is? Did that ever factor into any of the Terminators?
I don't know.
The evil Terminators, they like rock, but I like hip-hop. I mean, what does that have to do with? Apparently, I'm a rebel Terminator.
Yeah, I got that too. I don't know what the frick that means.
Does everybody just get that?
I don't know, but
just if anybody answers like I'm for humans, man.
Oh, when I did the test quiz, I got something else when I just randomly clicked answers.
You are a rebel Terminator. Though you are made of machinery, you have the soul of a human. As a rebel Terminator, you are a powerful ally in the struggle against Skynet, passionate and believing that the world is worth saving. You see the potential for goodness all around you, even when things seem bleak. You are a brave fighter and a strong spirit. Show the machines that the resistance will not be easily crushed. And get your Terminator collectibles here. Oh, this is Sideshow Collectibles.
Okay.
Yeah, they do a lot of, like, movie and game tie-ins. In comics, I should say, too.
Well, you're not behaving, so you can't sit on me. Still love you, though. I'm sorry, she stopped behaving. She started trying to climb up my shoulder and sitting on my face, and now she's yelling at another cat. So, the all-level Terminators? That's probably good to know.
There's the fuck you asshole scene.
Lol.
Possible responses, blah, 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 blah. Fuck you, asshole.
Nice.
And he pick up that program from people around him, and then you see the fake face again.
Yeah.
Or was he actually programmed like that from the future?
I don't know.
Yeah, those pants definitely look gray.
How they're brown? I swear those are lighter than they were the
They're not brown. They're definitely gray.
Did he change his pants again? Because those don't look the same as
She seems to have sneakers on, not boots. So I don't know if she changed shoes or if I just... Because I didn't see laces in that other scene.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where did Kyle get that money? Doggo, 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 doggo!
Yeah. Doggos are cool.
The dog looked suspicious.
Why don't you trust the dog?
No, he looked suspicious of Kyle. Like, Kyle went to pet him, he was like, what the fuck?
That makes sense.
Doggos are
Stranger danger. I do like
That's a
doggos,
big
though.
fridge. You see that whole kitchen set in that motel?
Okay, for a motel, yeah, that's probably big.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
I mean, I've never been in a motel that had that big of a fridge and that whole kitchen set in it. Okay, no, I do take that back. I do think the one motel I stayed at, but that was like the kind of motel where you have like the whole living room area, then you have like 2 bedrooms. You know,
How expensive is that?
It's like a suite kind of thing. I have been in a motel like that once.
I bet it was expensive.
I didn't have to pay for it. And as I recall, it had like a full kitchen area in it.
Okay.
I actually don't remember it all that well, but I do remember there was a pretty big living area.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that doesn't look like a suite. That
I
looks like a
assume
fairly
this
small
was in your
motel
kid
room.
years.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It was in Myrtle Beach when we went to go see WCW Bash at the Beach. No, WCW Great American Bash on tour for my birthday.
Nice.
Not the actual pay-per-view, just one of the house shows.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Sarah's mom is dead, but maybe she just wasn't home. I don't know if we actually see a body. The Terminator's going to impersonate her here, and you see that he broke into the cabin, but I don't know that body is actually visible in any of these scenes.
Okay.
So for all we know, her mom just wasn't home at the time.
Mommy
I
Terminator.
love money. No.
Don't give her any... She needs to focus. We don't need any more ideas. I will say now, her mom's cabin is in Big Bear. They're presumably still in Los Angeles. I think Big Bear's only like an hour outside of L.A. And it feels like it takes them a whole lot longer to get there than that.
I do not know.
Kids, don't try this at home, but apparently you can make bombs out of mothballs and Caro syrup and
Okay.
ammonia.
Has anybody proven this?
I don't know. I'll look up, see if this...
Or is it based on
This
something?
feels dangerous. Maybe I shouldn't even share this if I find something out.
What's for dinner? Bombs.
What were your hands up like that for?
I was reacting to GABA. I know nobody can see it, but I sort of put my arm doing that.
Skill issue.
Yeah, skill issue.
You're a skill issue.
Get off my arm rest.
I don't have an arm.
That's a you problem.
You're a me problem.
Yes, I am.
How should we feel about getting an AI overview and a search results about the movie Terminator?
Concerned. When was Kyle born?
I don't know. I mean, he comes back from 2029, and I would assume he's under 30 at this point, so...
Probably.
I would guess... Judgment Day is 99, so we know it's after that. At least the original Judgment Day. And then there's multiple different Judgment Days. The one they can't stop, and then a new one in an alternate timeline.
According to this, he was born around 2003 or 2004.
Yeah.
First of all, that makes me older than Kyle.
Yeah.
Second, born in 2004, died in 1984.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm younger than him still.
Screw you.
Barely.
He could have had a fine childhood if he was born in a different...
You had a big sigh.
Timeline. Shut up.
Seen people asking if you can make nitroglycerin, but I don't think Kyle says I think he says it's similar to nitroglycerin.
Okay.
It's like nitroglycerin, more stable,
Interesting.
is I believe the actual quote.
I didn't read the quote. I apologize.
I did. Like, I went back and read the script after we watched the movie the other day to glean some information.
Yeah.
And when watching it live, I did think that he said
Ow.
that it was nitroglycerin, but more stable. But I think in the actual script, he's supposed to say like nitroglycerin, but more stable.
Interesting.
So I don't think he's actually making nitroglycerin.
Do you have the script, or did you find the script?
I don't have it. No, I never owned a copy of it. I looked it up online.
Makes sense.
I'm not sure they ever had a commercial release of it.
Damn.
They may have, I don't know.
Damn indeed.
But,
Damn.
it wasn't that hard to find online, honestly.
Makes sense.
See which link I clicked on. As Sarah's falling for Kyle. Assuring that the future will have its savior.
Yay! The future will have its savior.
Okay, look, I have no problem with the relationship between Kyle and Sarah.
Okay.
Does anybody from a younger generation want to speak up and say, oh, that's ridiculous?
I'm not against it. It's not like my favorite relationship ever in movies and TV shows, but I'm not against it.
I mean, for one thing, from Kyle's perspective, he's been thinking about it for years. For another thing, they're in a high-pressure situation, and people have been known to have different feelings when you're put in that kind of a situation.
Yeah.
Plus, any two people could feel different than any two other people, so I can buy that people can fall in love or at least fall in lust very easily.
Yes.
So I have zero issues with it, even if everybody put in that same situation would not react the same. I have no problem believing that that's how it was in this one particular situation.
My thing with stories like this, as I've said on podcasts before, they're telling the story of this did happen.
No, that's what I told you.
No, I've told it to Dylan.
I've told that to you before,
Wait,
too.
we've both told it to Dylan.
That's how I look at. That's how I always look at movies when people are like, "Oh, that's so preposterous," and how lucky that happened. No, you're just seeing it in past tense. You're not watching it in the people are living it in present time, but you're watching as a document of what
They're
did
not
happen.
going to tell the more boring version of the story.
So, but anyway, like I say, I always, I mean, obviously when I was 10, seeing this movie for the first time, yeah, sure, it makes sense to me. But even at 45, I completely buy the relationship. Like I say, two other people put in the exact same situation, maybe not. But I totally buy that any two particular people could certainly feel this way about each other. And like I say, especially put in this high-pressure situation, there's like a whole thing, too, in the original script.
Yeah.
Where Sarah's talking about all the things she wants to show Kyle. Not sexual things, I didn't mean like that, but like all the things she wants him to be able to experience. Again, not sexual things. You know, once they've defeated the Terminator and how she can't wait to... It's kind of bittersweet, too. I almost wish it made it into the script because it makes it even more poignant, you know?
Yeah.
I just like, I can't wait to give you the life you never had.
Aw.
Yeah. But then again, they still have to stop Judgment Day, so...
Yeah.
There's still other stuff to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it awkward for y'all watching a sex scene with your father sitting right here?
It's generally awkward whether you were sitting there or not.
Oh, well, I mean, that kind of thing is not awkward for me in general, but when I was younger, even as a young adult, watching those sort of things with my parents always felt a little, like, they didn't make a big deal out of it. I didn't make a big deal out of it, but just sitting there subconsciously,
I mean,
this feels a little awkward. I mean, I guess there was some point that I grew out of it and it was like, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got like white chucks with light blue laces. That did not look like the shoes she was wearing. They looked a lot higher than that when they were sitting in the underneath the overpass or whatever.
I was gonna say, sitting here on the podcast or not, maybe slightly awkward. The other night watching it wasn't awkward. I just didn't expect it when watching the Terminator.
Dylan, Chekhov's dog. Kyle said they use dogs to identify the Terminators, and that's how they're alerted to the fact that the Terminator's nearby because the dog's barking.
Nice.
The dog was there for a reason.
Good dog.
So, a purpose.
Good dog.
Purpose? What?
I was saying the dog had a purpose, but it took me a moment to get to the word purpose.
You don't have a purpose.
Screw you.
At least the dog didn't die.
That's fact.
It's a good doggo. Good doggos don't die.
I don't like when doggos die. There's a movie I've repeatedly watched that a cat dies. I don't like it either. It's my least favorite scene in the movie.
No doggos should die.
I don't recall there being a doggo in that movie.
But all dogs go to heaven.
Don't let them.
So, keep them in eternal pain, bound to the earth.
Wow, Gabba.
Yes.
What?
Keep them alive and suffering.
Wow.
Doggos shouldn't die.
Wow. I mean, yeah, in a perfect world, they should get to live happily forever. We do not live in a perfect world.
We should.
Good luck.
That's a good movie, though, Perfect World. With Kevin Costner. I like that movie a lot.
Why don't we?
A lot of reasons, and I think we'd run out of time if we tried listing them all right now.
We'll list them all.
Because you're not working hard enough to make it that way? Okay, what night did we watch the movie again? Yeah, that was a little bit of weird speed for the scene there when he was driving down. I mean, it gave the impression of great speed, but it also just looked like it was filmed kind of oddly. Am I the only one who noticed that?
No.
And Kyle's just, he's just loosey-goosey with these bombs. I know there's a purpose to it. He's trying to destroy the Terminator, but he's just flicking them out there and constantly missing. Like, at some point you think he'd slow down and say, let me hold on to these for when I have a much better shot.
Damn, this makes me want to watch Power Rangers RPM.
Why?
Because everything points back to Power Rangers. By the way, the answer is the night of October 13th or the morning of October 14th.
Yeah, no, but I was going to say, well, it's just the night the cat had their issue and we had to stay up and deal with it, because I just found the stuff I was looking up that night.
Near the beginning of Power Rangers RPM, the Black Ranger, there was a bomb out of a car at an enemy, which, by the way, are all robots from a futuristic AI in an apocalyptic world.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm understanding...
And when I found the Terminator script, was I trying to look up something specific?
Yes, and the thing about the bombs.
Oh, yeah, nitrogen glycerin.
All I'm understanding, though, is Gabba going to get to do a bonus episode about Power Rangers at some point?
We should watch Power Rangers!
You can have a Power Rangers episode after I get my Barbie episode.
Power Rangers RPM. Power Rangers RPM does not have one of the best theme songs.
Mighty Morphin.
Overall, it's really good, but
Operation Overdrive has the best theme song. No, wait, that's the one I like, right?
Yeah, the 5 and Sky 5.
Yeah, if I try to sing it, I'm going to mess it up, but...
Understandable.
Okay, we're on the freeway now. I've gone too far.
Power Rangers.
Yeah, see, here's the scene where Sarah's talking about what she wants to do for him. It's like, you must have had a fun childhood. That's good. Now, 7 more, what... I don't know what they're saying here, but then she's like, I was thinking, there's so much I've got to show you when we get through this. It's mind-boggling. The possibilities. Disneyland, the beach, movies, matinees with popcorn and foot-long hot dogs. Hot dogs? I want to buy you a hot dog so bad, Kyle. All the things you've never seen and done. You're here, but wherever you go and whatever you touch, you bring the war with you. My whole life has been combat. I want it to be over for you. Not possible. I want it to be over for me, too. I feel like I slipped over some invisible line that I'm in your world now. Everything's the same, but I see it differently. It's like there's you and me and him, and nobody else can understand or help or even touch us.
I do have one thing to say.
Okay.
Even if he had a regular childhood, would have been nothing like hers. I mean, similar, but very different. In terms of, the movies and everything.
Okay, this is when they're... Okay.
I mean,
I'm trying to find the scene where they're making the bombs. I'm sorry, I think I went too far.
That she's at least near her early 20s, and this is 84, so her childhood was the late 60s, early 70s, and his was the 2000s.
Yeah. Yeah, he said the actual script line is nitroglycerin, basically. A bit more stable. I learned how to make it when I was a kid, so he's saying it's essentially nitroglycerin, but it's not nitroglycerin, you know?
Okay.
And these are some of the biggest...
from the big truck.
Yeah, these are the biggest action pieces of the movie, of course, with all the stuff on the freeway. And Kyle's already been wounded at this point. The script makes it seem like... makes it seem like the shots he takes hanging out of the car that he's already suffering from now are what actually kill him. I always felt like it was the explosion that he got too close to that finished him off, at least.
Yeah.
Also, this bomb seems like it takes forever to explode.
A little bit.
And you can see the fake Schwarzenegger face there again, obviously.
But now that you pointed it out, there's quite obviously a few scenes where you can see it.
Yeah.
But like I said, especially when you're watching the movie for the first time, it doesn't really hit you. If you're sitting here examining it on purpose... Also, she's doing a really good job of keeping in front of that truck. I would think it would have caught up to her by now.
Very much.
And yeah, you can tell that that's composited, but still, it looks fine, you know? Who's going to complain about that?
Exactly. The dumpster car fire.
The scene was a dumpster fire.
Oof.
You know what else is a dumpster fire?
The existence?
Yes. I'm hilarious sometimes. Not most of the time.
Stumbles out covered in flames.
Yeah, seemingly
Ghost Rider
defeated.
vibes.
This is a great scene coming up too when she and Kyle are celebrating like they've won, and all of a sudden the Terminator rises up out of the flames. That might be the best shot in the whole movie. Even though the Terminator's, it's obviously special effects. You know, you can tell it's not really there and it's against the background, but I don't know. It's still an ominous scene, and like I say, especially watching it on film or on VHS, it didn't stand out nearly as much as watching it on digital.
Fire resistant.
Well, yeah, I mean, most metal would be fairly fire resistant.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get to high temperatures to destroy it.
True.
Yeah.
We used a grill.
And like Kyle said, he's fully armored, so its computer parts should be protected.
We used a grill recently with some metal tongs set into flames, and I brought them inside to rinse them off, and I did put them in the water thinking the water's going to cool them down. I touched them a bit too soon.
I'm sorry.
Silly.
You know you should quench your steel in oil, not water.
Yeah.
You're make it too brittle.
Dummy.
Look, I had to rinse stuff off of. That was my assigned task.
See, think that if the Terminator really been destroyed, there, this could be a whole... Well, I mean, if he'd really been destroyed there, would his parts have even been viable for them to make the Terminators?
No.
I don't know.
Kyle could have had a hot dog. There it is. Look, I love that shot. That's fantastic.
Kyle never gets a hot dog.
Look at that. That's badass. I mean, you tell me that looks dramatically worse than a movie made 40 years later.
Meh.
That shot a little bit, but I mean, again, the robot's supposed to be damaged to a degree, and all of his, exoskeleton parts are gone.
Yeah.
He's not working at full capacity.
Interesting feat.
Yeah. And again, it's a fairly quick shot, and you're just into the drama of the moment, and like Kyle and Sarah trying to get away and the terror they're feeling. This is all fantastic.
Yeah.
40 years ago, and nothing they do today is any better. I'm not saying it's worse either.
Some reason it's making me think of Ultron.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure, there was some inspiration there. I mean, I don't know if the original Ultron predates the Terminator or not. I don't know what his appearance in the comics was, but...
We're going to find out if my phone...
Right there is probably the worst of the effects, but it's like terrifying, too. That thing's coming at you and just not stopping, and it seems to be speeding up.
Yeah.
I mean, works for me, man.
I was typing quickly, so I tried to type Ultron. I mistyped it enough for Google to think I meant Ukraine.
How? Okay.
When was Ukraine introduced in the comics, guys?
I was going to say Ukraine's a lot more relevant to current events than Ultron is.
So...
Hopefully somebody hearing this 10 years from now is like, wow, what was going on with Ukraine back then? Has to actually research it. Like, oh, wow, I can't believe that.
Yeah. According to this, Ultron first appeared in August of 1968.
All right.
Technically first appeared in July, but it wasn't named.
Then again, to be fair, I think some of the designs for the Terminator were actually, at least, let's politely say, inspired by designs that came before it as well.
Yeah.
I know, like, the alien designs were taken from, what is it, H.R. Geiger?
I don't know.
I think some of the Terminator stuff was also lifted, if you want to speak that way. Look at that. I mean, it doesn't need to be like doing Jedi flips and shit over it. Just this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meticulously stalking you. I mean, that's enough. That's terrifying,
I agree.
It doesn't need to be Yoda in the prequels.
Lol.
It doesn't need to be Impa and Echoes of Wisdom. It's a good thing she hit that button accidentally and remembered where it was, too.
According to Wikipedia, the character of the Terminator is inspired by a fever dream that Cameron had.
Yeah, I know that, but I think there was some accusations of thievery as far as the actual look of the character. If I'm not mistaken, I may be thinking about something else. And like I said, I know there's definitely allegations with Alien, but I think some of the look of the Terminator was also considered to be bordering on theft. I had a toy. It wasn't a Terminator. It was meant to look more like an actual skeleton, but it was kind of had that shape of the Terminator, because it wasn't supposed to be like a human skeleton necessarily either.
Uh-huh.
And it was with this set that you could make like these gel bodies over, you would pour it down over it and it would sort of form to it, so you could like make your own figure kind of. But we would use that little skeleton as like our Terminator endoskeleton when we would play Terminator and with our toys.
Nice. You've got Terminator skull thing, don't you, Gabba?
He does. In fact, Johnny saw the Terminator and he said, "That looks like the skull that Bubby has." And was like, "Yeah, because it's supposed to be a Terminator skull." He said, "That means Terminators are real?" Like,
yeah, but I killed one.
Like, no, it's a replica, dude.
That makes me think.
Okay.
The other night when we were watching this, doing a scene around now, Johnny had come out and made a comment saying that they needed John Wick.
Yeah. John Wick versus the Terminator. I guess to be fair, he's not really that close to the explosion. He falls down the steps before the bomb goes off.
Yeah, but between that and then the actual explosion... I guess he was just bleeding out
already.
He's taken a lot of damage at this point.
Yeah. Bull's not doing okay.
Are her sneakers just bathed in shadow and grime, or are they actually a different color by now?
I have no idea.
Because they look black.
I don't know. Did the actress have a contract to keep the shoes? I think they're just shadow and grime and whatnot.
I think that's what Shannon Doherty had on Mallrats. That's why she changed her clothes so much.
Yeah. I want to say maybe...
Yeah, they just look grimy, which would make sense. That's actually ouch.
Yeah. I want to say maybe it was with Legally Blonde. Maybe it was somebody else. There's somebody else I've heard with having that in their contract, either keeping the wardrobe or keeping the shoes, something like that. That seems to be not common, but not uncommon.
If you thought the Terminator rising out of the flames come after him was terrifying, I think this is just as terrifying, if not more so.
Yeah.
And of course, she just lost Kyle.
Yeah, he's dead.
He didn't get his hot dog.
Oh, he did.
To be fair, that wasn't in this cut of the movie, so they may not have discussed it.
True.
He gave Sarah his hot dog. And there it is, back alive, or still alive. No legs, just crawling over Kyle's dead body.
It's so hard to kill these things.
Look at that. Look at how crimson that is. Just dragging its metallic guts behind it.
Yeah. Okay, apparently it's Legally Blonde too. She got to keep her entire wardrobe, which specifically included 77 pairs of Jimmy Choo shoes.
Alright.
That's a lot of Jimmy Choos. I'd prefer 77 dolls made by his son, Danny Choo, a.k.a. Smart Dolls.
You really like your sex dolls, don't you?
They're not sex dolls. They're freaking fashion dolls.
Cashew dolls?
What?
Cashew chew? Chew cashew.
They're expensive dolls.
Man, if the Terminator just seen where that button was, he could have just crushed. Well, I guess he can't reach it. He's on the wrong side. I guess we shouldn't gender the Terminator.
True.
I mean, the robot itself probably doesn't have a gender.
I'd say the robot itself, no. The flesh was anatomically
It's meant to look like,
correct.
it had a dick. It was just hanging out there.
What's even the point of that is my question.
Well, I mean, they were supposed to blend in, so...
Okay, but...
I guess if there was something occurred and their pants were lost, and all of a sudden, like, they're a Ken doll. They're not real. So I can understand that. If you're going to go all the way to make them sweat and have bad breath, I mean, you're going to make them anatomically correct, I would assume.
I guess.
She hits the wrong button.
That'd be awful.
Oh, no! But she's fine.
And look to the very end, it's just not stopping.
Yeah. We'll get lightning again.
Yeah, that seemed a little specious, honestly. Because I thought that was more of an effect of the time travel.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I was the scene of the hydraulic press just crushing it and the light going out in its eye.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
I can see the box of the lightning. Like the cutoff line.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, it's going to hit something and try to find its way to ground. So
Well, yeah, there were just a couple points that I could see the cutoff line and it didn't match up quite right to the scene.
I'm
And
sorry.
it's like, oh gosh, they slapped one of those GIFs on top.
I don't think GIFs existed in 1984.
No, I don't think so either.
And so it ends for a few years.
Yeah, just for a little bit.
For a moment.
And
I'll be back,
Kyle is dead.
I'll be back.
Although apparently there is one future or one timeline where Kyle got to live his childhood. And then had to warn his future self, which was also an alternate timeline version of himself, when he went back in time to go be John's father, even though John's going to die, so did it really even matter? Your head's going to start to hurt if you try to piece it all together.
So we don't think about this.
Take the first 2 movies as canon and then just enjoy everything else as different timelines. That's the only way it really works.
Yeah.
Did she just say 7 November 10?
I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense. Maybe unless you mean 7 p.m.
Nope, you're not
Or
climbing on me
7.
again.
Hold on, let me see if I can
Ow!
find this, if this happens to be in the original script.
The cat was too determined.
By the way, you notice she has a dog with her now.
Nice.
Yippee!
I tried to move my hand so the cat could jump on my lap, but she was too determined and jumped as I was moving my hand.
The date is not in the actual script.
Ah.
I also heard that one of the shots here in the postscript, I don't know if it's the whole scene at the gas station or just the scene where she's driving off, they shot without permits and they actually got stopped by the police and had to convince them they were doing a student film.
Interesting. How does this place feel now?
Huh?
Said, how do they feel now?
They're probably dead now, to be honest with you. It was 40 years ago.
Doggo.
Doggo!
Shepherd.
Doggo!
I think it's a German
Does she
Shepherd.
keep with her just in case any other
I
Terminators?
like it.
I would assume so.
Yeah, that'd be my guess.
That's the kind of dog one of my friends wants.
I would like the headband with the slightly less feathered hair.
That's fine.
She's not getting the perm anymore.
Makes sense.
So let's see, May to June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, about 6 months along. I think that's what it says in the script.
Nice. Who's going up? February?
I guess. Is it ever stated?
I think I read that it's stated later on, but I don't know.
So, not in this movie, because there ain't much of this movie left.
No.
Yeah.
I cannot confirm it, but the actor playing the kid, he looks like I might have seen him in another 80s movie. I don't know his name or know if he actually appeared in any other 80s movies, but he looks like somebody I've seen in another 80s movie.
Understandable. Well.
He wants $5 for the picture. She talks him down to $4. I don't know. Maybe she just had 4 bills on hand.
Maybe. Didn't take her long to grab out that money, so.
Yeah.
Let me see the picture that burned away earlier.
The picture that Kyle had, yeah.
/ later.
Nice touch. Earlier in the film, later in the continuity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like this. He said there's a storm coming. That was a nice little poetic way to end it.
Yep.
And she drives off to face the storm. Metaphorically speaking, not literally. When I was a kid, I thought she was like driving toward Judgment Day there. I always misremember too that the flashback, well, with flash forward, the vision of Judgment Day was in this, but it's actually in Terminator 2.
Interesting.
But there we go. Yeah, acknowledgement to the works of Harlan Ellison, so I think that's the creator whose works, at the very least, inspired the Terminator, if not outright, were stolen from.
Hi.
Nice.
So any parting words on 1984's Terminator?
It was good.
I guess it's 30th. I used to watch this on VHS a lot. This was one of my go-to movies in the 80s.
Nice.
Definitely still top 5 Schwarzenegger films. Not sure where it would rank in the 80s movies, but somewhere in the upper echelon, as I like to say.
What about movies in general?
I've seen a lot of movies.
That is true.
That would take a while to place them all.
Okay.
But as I say, it's my favorite Terminator movie, so take that for what it's worth. And one of my favorite 80s movies, and one of my favorite Schwarzenegger movies, and I was a big Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Corey Feldman were my favorite actors when I was a kid. Take that for what it's worth, but when I was younger, those were the two I liked the most and whose movies I sought out.
I'm not sure who my favorite actors were as a kid.
So, I guess to wrap this up, I should remind people to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/LexiCon podcast, get access to, get an excess of LexiCon there, and access to bonus pods, as well as monthly merch designed by Alex. And I have to pose the question as we wrap this up again, what's more terrifying in this, the vision of the killer robot stalking you, or the potential vision of our future with AI controlling everything. And on that note, make sure you come back next week and the conversation will continue, or next time when the conversation... Let me try that again. And on that note, come back next time when the conversation will continue. And until then, I am will continue to be Maddie.
Lexi.
Dylan.
Make sure you go out and vote. Vote blue all the way down the ticket. Protect democracy. Protect our future. Give us at least a fighting chance. And hopefully we'll have better news by the time we come back next time. And until then, this is LexiCon concluded.
Bye.
Bye.